What up? What up? It's Raphael back with the Run the Floor podcast. Got my brother James in the building. What up, James?
Oh,
All right. Bubble. It's like the first week. Man, you have you got adjusted to these games starting at noon?
yeah, man. I try to get all my work done by, the majority of my hard work done by about noon so I can work and, watch games. And then on the weekend, I try to knock out my 2K before the early games or like today, man. I went and got some shots up. Try to hurry up and get back before the game started. So I love it, man. It feels like March Madness.
Right.
I'm not falling asleep on the couch anymore because I missed the second half of the West Coast game that ended at 12:45. So I love it, man. Perfect for me.
Yeah, man, I've been enjoying it. The games have been intense. Guys are in shape. It feels like playoff bonus.
Yeah.
So, all right, first of all, let's talk about the two teams that are the number one seeds coming into the bubble, which a lot of people think are the favorites to go in the NBA Finals. They're struggling. And in my opinion, it's not like they're tanking games or just kind of taking it easy. I think they're really struggling. So start off with the Lakers. They lost to Houston. LeBron didn't play. But the game against the Pacers, which was yesterday, they didn't look good. Uh, what's your thoughts on the Lakers right now?
Um, they don't, yeah, like you said, they just don't look good. Anthony Davis doesn't look good, man. And it's like as good as he is and as long as he's been good, it's like he's never seen a double team before. And Toronto will shut him down completely. Um, the Houston game, he only got 8 shots up in 30 minutes. Last game against Indiana, he couldn't score. So it's like,
And
I
he
don't know,
got
man.
cooked on
And he got
defense.
cooked too. And I mean, TJ Warren been cooking everybody, but you know, Anthony Davis is shooting 39% in the bubble. And like that's not gonna cut it. And I mean, you can sit here and say, oh, it's just the bubble. Guys are trying to get, warm. But I mean, it looks like if you double him and if they continue to play JaVale McGee, if Danny Green continues to shoot poorly, you know, they look very beatable. Like I said, I didn't have them coming out of the West anyway, but they look really, really vulnerable right now. Um, LeBron, outside of yesterday, to me, he really hasn't looked good either. So it's like they got to find something. I think their lack of depth is catching up to them, especially with teams shortening their rotation. Like when LeBron sits, they're just going to hard double Anthony Davis. So I think they're vulnerable. I know we talked on the last podcast about maybe Portland, giving them a run. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but I think there should be some cause for concern because, you know, they were clicking on all cylinders before the quarantine, and now they look all funny in the light.
Yeah, I mean they can't shoot. Like they're shooting like 30% or below 30% from three. And so it just seems like in the playoffs, boxes and elbows. And
Yeah,
I mean, Quinn Cook is probably their best outside shooter. I mean, Danny Green he can catch fire, but he's been struggling big time. But I don't think teams are too much worried about Quinn Cook. They'll be glad to have him on the floor because they'll go at him on defense. Deon
exactly.
Waiters is more of a bucket getter than an outside shooter, even though I think he's been playing well. LeBron, I think it's tougher for LeBron because he doesn't have floor spacing if they're playing AD and JaVale or AD and Dwight, now that these games kind of like have a playoff feel to it, his floor spacing is going to be limited. So they got to find some shooting. They need Danny Green to come out of his slump. They need KCP to start shooting the ball well, or else I think, they could be in some trouble, especially considering that whoever they play in the first round is going to be a team that's already in playoff mode. They're already going to have
fighting for their
momentum.
lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me of 2007. Remember, Mavs had the number 1 seed, and then Avery started kind of resting guys, and it kind of threw their chemistry off. And then Golden State had to go through this process where they had like to have a bunch of things fall into their favor just to get the 8th seed. Everything fell in their favor. They got the 8th seed, and then that momentum they had playing because they were in playoff mode for weeks, and they caught the Mavs slipping. So it wouldn't shock me to see a team catch the Lakers slipping. Man, if that happens, it's it's gonna be a wild day on social media, and the slander is gonna be at an all-time high. And then there's gonna be some people that's gonna be like, "Oh, this is an asterisk; it don't count." Yada yada yada.
But I mean, at first I was thinking that, but like
No.
everybody comes in for the most part with the same,
Ain't no advantages.
Yeah, there's no advantages, So like we'll talk about them too. Like Milwaukee has like a really good home court advantage, and they don't have that right now.
Yeah,
and or even I think they're done for the most part. But like Philly was unbelievable at home.
Yeah, they were terrible on the road.
They can't beat anybody.
Right. Speaking of the Bucks, they haven't looked too great either. The game that I saw the Mavs game last night. Luka picked them apart. He had my man Wes Matthews on roller skates, was dancing, but he literally created every single opportunity for the Mavs. Like, even though he had 19 assists, he got those guys a lot of wide open looks. Like, they had no answer for him. And then I watched the Rockets game where the Bucks, they dominated down low, but when it came time to them needing a bucket, they didn't have a person that get them a bucket. So I think that's one of their issues, is that even though Giannis is their best player, he's MVP, late in the games, I think I'm going to Middleton. I think I'm using Giannis as a decoy, and I'm going to Middleton to create.
My thing with the Bucks, they don't run plays, man. It's just like
get a stop, Giannis get the rebound.
Yeah, he's flying up the court.
Flying
but
up
like
the court,
in the half
kick
court,
it out.
It looks like it's just Giannis at the top of the key trying to run through a front line on the free throw line waiting for him. He can get there, obviously most of the time, but like late in the game, they're not calling those fouls that they call in the first 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't feel like they need to play Brook, with him because Brook can shoot, but they got to find a way to get him like something on the block where he's not, trying to score on a wall.
Yeah, but I mean, like
plays, man.
Running post plays in the clutch.
It is on him too, but they don't run anything at the end of the game to put him in a good spot.
Yeah, but I mean, running post plays in the clutch, I'll take that if I'm the defense.
But let me get some kind of action where it's just not, throw him the ball. We're going to help off of Bledsoe. We're going to help off of DiVincenzo. We're not helping off of we'll kind of help off of Brook, but we're not helping off of Middleton. Like, I don't – for somebody that's been coach of the year twice and is in the running again this year, I don't feel like they don't – something's just missing. Like, you got to figure something out with it. Like, there's no creativity.
Well,
but,
usually
on one hand, go ahead. On one hand, though, like the Bucks, you said they're 2-3.
Yeah,
they tanked the game against the Nets.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. They do have problems closing out close games.
Well, usually your team, if you got an MVP caliber player, usually in late game situations, you can give him the ball and he can create. I mean, not saying Giannis can't create, but he's very predictable late in the game because he definitely doesn't want to shoot a J.
Right.
So he's going to drive to the cup, put his head down, and I mean, I think you can kind of build a wall. At least with other guys that were big time scorers in the clutch, you knew that they could shoot the pull up J, they get to the rim. Giannis isn't really a threat to me in the clutch. And I mean, they were smacking teams around this year. They really don't have much experience this season
Right.
as far as close games. So that's something to look out for. I
But
think,
put him in let's run a Middleton Giannis side pick and roll, something.
yeah, I would definitely do that.
Let's
But
do
I mean,
that.
I want the ball in Middleton's hands, and
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, how do you tell the MVP, hey, I need you to be the decoy on this. I need you to set
Well,
the
but
screen
here's
and
my
get out the
thing.
way.
Like Giannis's comparison as far as like, oh, we need you to go get a bucket. You go back and you think of the wings and the guards that are, put the ball on the ground and get you a bucket. Like in that situation, that's not Giannis's strength because he's not a shooter. So like
Right.
they got to get creative, man. Like I understand like Shaq did his damage. Kobe was closing out those games because he could put the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
But like you got to put him in a position to be successful. I mean, again, I'm not there every day, but you got to figure it out because if they don't pull it through the East this year, man, the slander is going to be scorching hot.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's quite a few teams where, like, if they don't do well, I think Philly caught a break as far as
I think
Brett
they're
Brown
done.
caught a break with
Nah,
Ben
he's
Simmons
done.
being hurt. So I think he probably comes back next year because it really not his fault. Like the way that roster was put together, I mean, it was like Elton Brand thought it was like 99. Like he built that team to
We're like
beat the
89.
well, I feel like he built that team to beat the Pacers with the Davis boys.
Right.
like, I mean, they don't have like a backup point guard. Like, they don't have a guard that can get in the lane, create for others. They don't have. I don't know, man. That roster is just poorly constructed. The Horford deal is looking pretty crazy right now. I mean, how do you decide? You know what? I'm gonna bring in another big, but I'm gonna let JJ walk.
A 34-year-old big.
Right, and they gave him 100, right? 100 plus, right?
Something crazy.
Something crazy. So we'll move on to the surprise team of the bubble, Phoenix Suns. Are they for real?
I think they are for real. And like I think Devin Booker's been very good. I mean, obviously for a very long time, but he's played for Phoenix and they've been fumbling. But he closed out against the Clippers. But like, I don't want to talk about Devin Booker. The surprises of the Phoenix Suns have been Cam Johnson, who's getting you 13 and 8. I don't think that they expected that from him. Because a lot of the scrimmages, the talk was Bridges.
Right.
Cam Johnson he's playing really well. He's been rebounding. I think he's had 2 double doubles. And a man that's playing for his basketball life every day is Cameron Payne, who's averaging 10 and 5 off the bench in these 5 games. So it's like that's been helpful. Like against was that Indiana? Devin Booker picked up his 5th foul. And I want to say like 4th or 5th foul early or midway through the 3rd quarter, and like campaign went off. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And last year or anytime earlier this year, you couldn't. If Devin Booker would have picked up any kind of fouls, man, they were done. So like they're playing really well right now.
Ayton is defending.
I got some problems with Ayton still.
Yeah, man, he don't get to the foul line.
I
He's
think he might.
what's that?
I think he might be soft, man.
But that's always kind of been the knock on him. Like he was never a guy that dominated like the paint. I mean, I remember back when he was in high school, when I was with API, we played against him, and he put up numbers, but you felt like, dang, he settled for a lot of jumpers. He made some, but he wasn't like, I don't know. You just feel like there could be something more out of him. Like he's just
Yeah,
not aggressive. He's not assertive. He definitely doesn't get to the foul line.
he shot 5 free throws last game, but before that, it was like 3 free throws in 4 games. Like that's
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean,
And
I
it's
just
like
think that's him. But like, I feel like defensively, he used to be terrible. He's not terrible
he's
on
getting better,
defense
yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
But like I said, he just leaves. I mean, there's just more to be. He leaves room for more to be desired. And it's like he has so much belief in his touch. It's like, I mean, he'll catch the ball on the low block and like his immediate thought is not shoulder. You know what I'm saying? It's just turnaround jumper.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, so come these later games and we doubling book, we playing book hard. We got to get a bucket because Rubio's not a consistent scorer, obviously. And then you're playing him with 2, 3, and D guys, so it's like if they're gonna take that leap outside of this year, they need him to be more than just a rim runner finisher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you draft him number 1 to be a rim runner and a finisher.
Well,
like
luckily for him, he has Booker to do all. He doesn't have to carry a team. He just got to be number 2.
I get that, but I think long term he's got to be a 24 point per game guy.
Now he might. I can see him doing that. It's just a matter of
24 and 12 field goals.
Oh, well, I can see him getting to 20-some points a game. It's just a matter of, is he going to do it with all shooting, all jumpers, or is he going to be a guy that, he's getting guys in foul trouble. He's, really like, just dominating the game as opposed to just, getting buckets because he's that talented where he can easily get you 20-something a game. It's just a matter of enforcing his will. And I mean,
I don't think the Suns are in this predicament right now playing for their life if he was more dominant. And obviously if he wasn't, doping. But
yeah, if he wasn't suspended. So what do you think about Oubre?
How do you justify like keeping him if they're better without him?
You gotta bring him off the bench. Tell him, look, you're a 6-man. Come in, get buckets.
What did he sign his contract for?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think it was like a big deal. I want to say it was like short.
I don't think he's a get buckets guy.
I mean, he got buckets. He scored.
No, he's good, but I don't think he's a come off the bench and get buckets guy, if that makes sense. Like he's gonna put up. He's not okay. Get buckets guy. Like he's not putting the ball on the ground and creating them. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna feed off of somebody at all times.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not a get buckets. He can score, but like he's a hot, not a 3 and D guy, but he's a good like third piece. But right now they're playing so much better without him. I don't know what you do.
It's hard to justify. So I mean that'll be interesting to see what they do come next season. So yeah, Phoenix is my surprise team too. I mean, I thought they was out from the beginning. I didn't even think there was an opportunity. Same with Spurs. I just thought Memphis, Portland, and the Pelicans would be competing for that 8th spot. And the Pelicans got sent home today. They were the biggest disappointment to me.
By far.
I mean, even the Grizzlies, they had an easier path. And, I mean, I know they lost JJJ. And then Dylan Brooks has been I don't know what's
Brooks got to be a super free agent because he's playing like tomorrow ain't promised.
Yeah, he's been taking some bad shots, but the Pelicans, I mean they're the biggest disappointment to the point where I think Alvin Gentry's on the hot seat right now.
I think he's done.
Simply because he wasn't Griff's hire,
right?
And then you got to think like Tyronn Lue or Jason Kidd, one of those 2 names is going to come up.
They don't play any defense.
They don't play D. Lonzo has been awful. Like, I'm not a Lonzo guy. I know you're not.
I'm not even.
But he's been awful. Like, really, really bad to the point where he shouldn't have been starting. Like, I guess, the last few games before the break, he was playing well. And then, I guess it's tough to bench a guy based off the games in the bubble. But he was probably the worst player in the bubble for a team that has so much to gain. I mean, he averaged like 5 points a game. It was like
26%
from the floor,
field,
something like
17 from the 3.
Yeah, he's
playing a lot of minutes.
I know. And I won't even say his free throw shooting was like 30-something% from the free throw line.
But that's normal.
He missed so many. 33% is bad. Like, he at least.
But that means he
40.
shot like 6 free throws, though. You know that, right? He
Yeah.
shot 6 free throws in 5 games. So,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
he's
kind
never
of
gonna get to the line, but I mean, he can't finish. Like I see him like miss so many layups. Like he had 2 layups where I saw where he looked like, when they played the Kings, when they was, I mean, after Bogdan and Fox had already had 30 plus, he looked like he tried to be aggressive and attack Bogdan going to the rim. He made a couple baskets. But other than that, I just normally don't even see him assert his will on the game. He's super passive. I mean, he brings the ball up court, quick pass, and just stands.
Yo,
He
man.
has some intangibles, but the thing that like I never thought he was going to be like an efficient shooter or a big time scorer, but he was supposed to bring this winning intangibles and connective tissue, and he hasn't done that. Like I don't know, man.
He,
He's disappointment.
I got a couple of takes, man. All right. I'm in the kitchen right now. It's going to be a hot take. I think he's a small forward at this point, man. Like, I don't understand him bringing the ball up the court and initiating offense. So he comes off the pick and roll. Teams know he's not going to shoot a pull-up jumper. He can't shoot floaters and he can't finish at the paint. So they immediately sag to the roll man. So
Yeah.
as talented as Zion is, you got Zion finishing in heavy traffic because he's not a threat to score. All right. And then Zion can only play 4 minutes at a time. So that's Derek Favors. He's not finishing there. So I think like he's hurting his team because he doesn't want to score in the
Yeah.
half court. He can't score in the half court. And then like there was a play today, he just has no creativity, man. Like he got a rebound. He jammed R2 turbo down in transition and just threw up like the ugliest lay. There's no kind of like there's no
It was like a
side step.
1-on-2.
Yeah, it was a 1-on-2,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not that looked like a middle school layup where you just dribble as fast as you can. And it's like, I'm not a Lonzo guy, but I feel sorry for him, man, because you can tell his confidence is
Shot.
broken. Like he retweeting Bleacher Report, man. It's just not looking good for him. And it's like, if the Pelicans have a top 10, 12 pick, they will have a top 10 pick in this draft, man, I'm seeing what's up with Kyra Lewis, man. We need a point guard. Because like I don't see him. I don't understand. I don't think at 22 you get that kind of ball handling and creativity that you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's him. I mean, it's hard to
Like
say.
he can't
You
work
are who
on
you
what he
are.
needs. It's like what he needs. I don't think he can get it. He's
I mean,
like he's a light skinned Patrick Beverly at this point.
yeah, but Pat Bev got some sauce. I mean, outside of his role, he has accepted his role, but Pat Bev he got some sauce if you
That
want him
dad can
to.
make a floater.
Yeah, and I
But
mean, he just accepted his role as I'm gonna play defense. This is how I'm gonna make my money. I'm not gonna make my money
that's
getting
true.
buckets. I don't think Alonzo could get buckets if you needed him to.
He's 100% reliant on being scorching hot from three.
Yeah, even his misses are bad. Like I don't know, man. It's weird because on paper he shot 38% from three this season. I mean,
But that was a hot month
before the
or two.
bubble. Yeah, I mean, it
I'm
looks like he didn't do anything during the break. I mean,
well.
it doesn't even look like he even reported to camp with the team a month before. It looked like he just showed up at the bubble. And even then, like with Zion, he looked way out of shape, man. He did not look bouncy. He was still tough. I mean,
Zion,
you can't.
Zion he's the red shirt tight end at the rec center in college. That's way bigger, way stronger. He athletic, and he don't want to get hurt. And he can get you
Yeah,
20.
yeah. I mean, his points per minute is crazy. I mean, you can't really stop him once he gets the ball. He just didn't have that burst or that pop for me. Like he didn't. He had a few dunks, but he just looked out of shape. Like it
Yeah, he
was
was out
weird
of
because
shape.
remember they showed you that picture when he first got to the bubble where he looked like he was ripped up, and then
That wasn't
No, when
I
they
gotta
first got
remember
to Orlando,
whoever.
it was like he was ripped up, and I remember it was like Zion been working, and then he went home for a couple weeks, and my man must have been, I don't know what he was doing, but he just did not look in good shape, which I think, for the Pelicans going forward, you have to be concerned because on paper they got a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? Like they got
They
their
shouldn't be this bad.
yeah, they got their two guys. They surrounded them with veterans. JJ hadn't missed the playoffs. Favors is a respectable vet, even though I don't think he's recovered mentally since his mom passed away. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really the
I'm
same.
I'm giving him a pass this year, man.
Yeah. Ingram, he's played better.
Ingram Ingram is super talented. I don't know how much he affects winning, man. You know what I'm saying? He can get you 25, 30 easy, but it's like I watched a lot of Pelicans games and he may look unstoppable, but it's just kind of like they just lose games. And it's not necessarily all on him, but it's like I don't Drew Holiday is too good of a second, whatever you want to call his role in that team, for them to be this bad. You know what I'm saying? You look at like Ingram and Zion, a pick and roll should be like, how do you stop that? Because
Well, I mean,
Ingram,
there's,
it
there's no
should be.
there's no spacing. Like, I really think they should have started Zion at the 5. Start Zion at the 5
True.
and Ingram at the 4. But I think like as long as Lonzo's on the floor, their spacing is going to be bad on the pick and roll.
Yeah, but just hide him in the corner.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Even when he was, but even when they weren't good until Zion got there. And then when
right.
Zion got there, Ingram's numbers went way down because it was Zion's season. And then like they just don't have any chemistry. And to me, going forward, you got to figure out how to make them two become, you know,
Spacing. And it was long. I
great.
mean, even when Lonzo was hot, teams still weren't closing out on him. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So that pick and roll was still getting clamped because it's like, we'll dare you to shoot. He had a hot month. But even coming out here in this bubble, teams weren't like, all right, he shot 38% from 3 this year. Don't leave him open. I mean, he's like the epitome of he with us.
He with us. And what's crazy with percentages is like Luke is a 30% 3-point shooter, but you wouldn't know it. It seems like he, has a strap. He's like a career 31% 3-point shooter, but you're not leaving him open. You know what I'm
But
saying?
no,
Like
he's
there's
not
levels
getting open looks. Like every shot he shoots from 3 is he's shooting off the
contested, yes, but
dribble.
you're
Yeah,
contesting every shot he shoots. Like Lonzo,
right.
like, hey
They're
man,
not closing
he
out.
with us. But yeah, man, I don't know what I feel sorry for him, man. Like if I was working with Lonzo, he got to play 1-on-1 every single day. Like I'm starting tonight. Like there's no point to play 1-on-1. He need to watch somebody like Shea Gilgeous. I'm not saying he can ever pick that up, but like Shea Gilgeous' feel for the game and traffic is like unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas Lonzo just his layup package is like he don't have any VC, man.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he needs to play 1-on-1 all summer. And
No,
I'm
no,
not a
no. Today, there's no point, man.
there's no
Just
point.
play tonight.
I mean, I'm not a believer in his touch anyway.
I'm not
So
either. But he
yeah, I
can't make
mean,
wide open layups or
yeah,
lightly
well, I think
contested.
like he doesn't want to get fouled. Like, I mean, a guy that wants to get downhill knows like I'm getting downhill, and if I either a layup or I'm gonna get fouled. I don't think he wants to be fouled because before I mean he shot like a career high, like 50 something percent from the free throw line. And to me, if your point guard misses 2 free throws, that's a turnover. Might as well just kick the ball in the stands. So
Man, look, if your point guard comes off a pick and roll and the defense doesn't respect him as a scorer, you might as well kick the ball in the stands.
yeah,
It's
pick and
2020, man.
roll,
Your point guard
swings.
got to be able to put the rock on the ground and make a play.
Yep.
And like, look at I've been watching. I mean, look at Ish Smith. Ish Smith has been a non-shooter his whole career, but he has enough sauce where, you know what, he's gonna finish. He makes that ugly pull-up jumper. You know what I'm saying?
But his
So it's
speed
like
is
his
always a
speed is
threat.
unreal, but it's speed and his creativity too. And like I
Yeah.
said, he come out the draft, Lonzo just doesn't have any creativity. He's like the Jaleel Okafor of point guards. Like his style of point guard play is old, man.
Yeah,
It's hard to be able to
you gotta be
pass.
able to score in today's NBA. And if you can't score like 1-on-1, you have to be able to knock down open shots. No matter how great you are on defense, if you can't knock down open shots, you're a liability on offense because
I move him to the three.
that makes sense. I don't think I mean, like, to me it makes sense, but you know, you might kill his confidence even more.
But the
And
thing
then you
is,
don't
when he
have
catches the ball, he's out there traveling on catching shoot opportunities because he's not shooting, and they're like half closing out on him. I don't think his confidence can get any worse. And it's just like, I mean, I understand you want to kill his confidence, but you got to figure it out, man. You got to reinvent yourself. Do
yeah.
something. You can't be retweeting Bleacher Report. Yo, man, tweet my stats next year. Nah, man, let's figure this out tonight. Y'all not
Right.
playing for nothing else.
Right. So the Pelicans were the most disappointing. The Suns were the biggest shock. Who gets the 8th playoff spot?
I think Portland, man. Dame Lillard is Dame
It's
Lillard.
that
You
loss
know,
where he missed those 2 free throws was crazy.
it
Then,
was
like,
crazy.
they played today. They barely won. They barely beat Philly's backup team. It was their 3rd game in 4 days. They got tomorrow off, and then on the next game after that, they got the Mavs, who are resting their guys for
Tomorrow.
the Jazz game. So
But here's the
Portland is
thing. The thing is, you just got to get. I think Memphis is cooked. They should be able to fall out. Derek White, who I wanted to talk about earlier, is a surprise. He's averaging 20 in the bubble. He's looking like the guy I saw coming out of Colorado. He's playing with a lot more confidence. He's making shots. He looks really, really good. And the reason why
he's looking like
the
a number
game,
2 pick. He's
right,
going.
that game today, go ahead.
I want to do a discussion over if you're an NBA GM, if you're the Spurs or the general manager of the Pelicans, who gets a bigger deal, Lonzo or Derek White?
Derek White.
I agree.
Derek White is looking like I'm pretty sure I compared him to Brogdon coming out of college. He's looking like that right now. Like the game was close today against the Pelicans because he got hurt. Like they were
Yeah.
up a dub, you know. He's always played good defense, but now he's shooting the ball with confidence. He's finishing, and the thing that's helping him out a lot is they got Aldridge out of the paint, so now they're basically playing 4 out, 1 in.
Yeah.
So now he's looking like a slasher. And then imagine if you know, DeRozan shot jumpers that weren't off the dribble, you know, like he's getting better. He looks good. But
Yeah.
to answer your initial question, I think Portland gets in. I just trust Dame in a play-in game. I don't care who's it against. Memphis, San Antonio, Phoenix, all 3 combined. I just trust him in the play-in game. I think
Yeah.
he got that ugly one out the way against the Clippers. I mean, yes, they struggled, but they played their competition. That's why they kind of are where they are right now. You know what
But
I'm saying?
defensively, they're bad. I mean, they're 21st out of 22 teams in the bubble on defense, and their rotation is short. And Dame's got to play like heavy minutes.
But it's that's fine. It's
Yeah.
the playoffs for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think if
Okay
they get
with
8,
that.
they're good. All they got to do is win once if they get 8.
Yeah, I think they get in, man. I just trust Dame. Dame is unreal. You got to double that man at half court. He still got 50 tonight.
Yeah, especially with spacing. If they go with Nurk,
And okay, think about this:
Melo.
if that play-in game is against the Suns, and you said Aiton's defense is getting better, but what's he going to do with Dame out there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. So speaking of that, we'll transition into the bubble beef. What you think about that? I mean, I like it. I think Pat Bev is just being Pat Bev. What's even funny about Pat Bev clowning Dame was he was on the JJ Redick podcast talking about how Dame fried him. And that whole summer he changed like his training routine because he needed to get a step faster. So
Yo,
uh And then, of course, Paul George said what he had to say. Dame talked about him not being built for the, what'd he say?
He said, what'd he say?
You boys is chumps. You keep switching teams because you're not.
You avoiding the grind or something like that.
Yeah, like.
Game won, man. He won.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I tweeted. Like, what can PG say after that? Like, well, I mean, I left because you sent us home last year. And
man, PG hit me. He hits you with the, man, I'm a family man with the kids and all that I've been through. Like, nah, man, we're not trying to hear that, dog. We're not trying to hear that. And my thing with Pat Bev, he one of them dudes probably Google himself too. He come off as a cheerleader in this bubble beef, man. Like, come on, dog.
This just who Pat Bev
man,
is.
You averaging 8. You talking about you mocking me?
He threw the gang sign up to let you know, like, it is what it is. But no, I like Pat Bev. I think that's who he is. I mean, if there was a way the Blazers and the Pelicans, the Blazers and the Clippers could play in the playoffs, that would be dope. And then the other beef, which I was hoping they would play, but it looks like neither one of them are going to play tomorrow, is
Jimmy's playing.
Oh, he's playing?
Jimmy's playing, yeah.
I wanted TJ Warren, Jimmy Butler.
Man, look.
And if we get lucky and get them in the playoff first round, I mean, I don't know if it's possible. It might still be. Yeah, as of today, 4-5 matchup. Butler, man, TJ Warren.
I don't want to see TJ Warren if I'm anybody right now.
I mean, Jimmy does. Jimmy wants to challenge, even though he did fry Simmons.
He cooked Ben Simmons.
I counted. He had
39 on.
He had 26 on Ben Simmons. I know he had 53, but he had 26 on Ben Simmons' head.
I don't want no problems with TJ Warren, man. Look, I know Jimmy, one of them dudes. He hard-headed. He got it out the mud. Nah, bro, Crowder, you gotta take some of these points, dog.
To me, that's must-see TV.
It is. Let me ask you a question, right? Pacers, what do? TJ Warren's a free agent.
Is he?
All right. I believe so.
I thought he signed a 2-year deal.
Is he?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me ask. But anyway, TJ Warren is playing his best basketball of his career at the 4 position. All right. The problem is you've been playing him at the 3 all year because you got Sabonis who hoops. You got Miles. So what do you do going forward in the 2020 season? Or what do you do if Sabonis comes back this year from plantar fasciitis?
Well, 1, I don't think he's coming back. 2, it just depends on what happens in the playoffs. So if they're 4-5 and they lose to Miami in the first round, that's one thing.
All right. So what if they lose to Miami and TJ drops 28 a game and it goes 6 or 7? He's clearly the best player. And you got to think, Oladipo, man,
he looked good versus the Lakers, though. Oladipo looked good.
He was snatching Kuzma.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what if Oladipo's not back? So what do you do?
I mean, I think you got to let it play out. I'm trying to think of a team that would – I think Turner has the friendliest contract, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think Sabonis signed for more. That's tough. That's tough unless you get like a lottery pick for Sabonis, which I don't even know. Like,
you would move Sabonis and not Miles?
Well, I think that
Sabonis is like clearly the better player.
I think he is offensively, but I think that Miles, I don't know. I think they would go with Miles. That's who I think they would go with. I think Sabonis may bring in more value to get you. I don't even know what they would really need at this point. Maybe some depth.
Where would you trade Sabonis to?
I don't know. Yeah, that I'm not sure.
Because I was thinking like Boston, but like they don't have any money. They're not gonna move anybody. So
yeah, I mean, if I'm Boston, I'm just going to.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, no, I'm just going to be like either Dwight or Whiteside is going to be available for the cheap, So
True.
I'm
Yeah.
leaning one of them in for size. All right, let's move on to the surprise players. All right, so obviously TJ Warren is number one, 35 points, 6 rebounds, 60% field goal, 55% from three. Torch Ben Simmons, torch AD. And like you talked about, he's at the four. He is a problem at the four. Like I always liked him coming into the league because he was like, he had that one-on-one game and he was just a mid-range pull-up shooter. But now that he done added the three ball to it, he's gonna be a problem going forward. And it's like, I mean, he averaged like 20 a game this season, 19, close to that. And he's always been a bucket, but I mean, Sabonis going down was like the biggest blessing in disguise for him.
Forrest can't like guard him.
Nah.
Yeah, Forrest can't guard him. And he's playing some great defense too. Like he's getting a lot of steals. I mean, that just comes with his scorer's aura. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not necessarily locking up, but like playing the passing lanes. I've always liked TJ, man. Floater game has always been on 100 for him.
Yeah, he's always been a bucket.
His touch around the basket is ridiculous. His touch around the basket is the polar opposite of Lonzo.
Definitely. But I mean, he's a natural born professional scorer. Like he gets buckets. So he's my number one surprise player. Booker's play well, but Luka, I mean, if the Mavs could only close, I can't remember the stat, but it was like they're 2-10 in games decided by something in the clutch, whatever. If they could close games, they could easily be a top 4 seed. I mean, they're young, so of course they got to grow. But Luka's put on a show so far. 35 a game, 12 assists, 11 rebounds. He had a 19 assist game, a 20 rebound game, shooting 50% from the floor. Like this dude is incredible. Like I've been a Luka fan. Remember, I told you he had game. I still think there's some people that still aren't convinced. Like there's still some people that are still like,
I'm a believer now. I'm like,
does
fam,
well.
How you just now believing?
Well, I just think some people are on that Trae Young hill and they don't want to get off. Like whenever Luka does well.
Why you gotta pick a hill, man? Just enjoy basketball, man.
I mean, I think it's reverse racism. I think some people don't want to see him do well because he's
white.
Yeah, I mean he's a foreigner.
He can hoop. Like there's no agenda behind it with him. He can hoop. He had Wes Matthews touching the ground.
Yeah, and like I say, once they figured out and once they know how to close games, because it's like it's not like the Giannis situation where Giannis can't really create his own shot. Luka can create his own shot. It's just he has to create every shot for everybody on that team. Like nobody on that team other than JJ Barea seems to be able to get in the paint. Brunson can, he's not playing, but yeah, it just seems like he either takes some hero shots or he has to.
What was the game they lost?
Phoenix. They lost to Phoenix. I felt like he had a layup. He went left, and he normally like kind of bumps into the person, but he passed it out to somebody, and they ended up taking a tough shot. And then they kind of blew that game because Phoenix made a run without, I think Ayton and Booker on the bench. It was like the second unit. It was like that campaign Javon Carter unit that came back.
And then I think the Rockets, he got his numbers because, I mean, he's great.
They didn't close that game.
He didn't close that game out. And it was because he just couldn't close that. I mean, you want to talk about surprise players, man. The Rockets defend, man.
Yeah, I mean, they give up a lot of points. But
but outside of that Mavs game, who's like torched him?
They give up. I mean, they give up points. I mean, they
locked up. I mean, it wasn't the force. They locked up the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like they defend. Nobody has killed them outside of that Portland game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they
defend.
They're gonna be tough. Like I really want to see what happens if they come out and they like run through the playoffs because,
But you can't duplicate what they have.
well, I mean, it's a copycat league. Like
But
somebody's
there's no
going to
other James
try.
Harden.
Well, there's not
And
a
then
James Harden, but I mean, I think like I don't know, man. I just think
you
like
can't
if they do
duplicate that.
well, I mean, like they have turned Jeff Green into a 5. He's like looking like one of the best stretch 5s
Hey,
ever. He's
look,
not missing.
Daniel House is playing great, man.
But
Like
you think
he
about it,
is
like
like the ultimate 3-and-D guy because he can dribble just enough. He's a great athlete and he's making shots. I mean, obviously they need him to shoot a bunch of threes, but like, yo, he defends, man.
but he showed it like he did a move where he shot a step back 3.
Yeah,
But
like
you
it's
know
just
what?
just a little bit of that.
Him
That's
and
good.
Covington are 2 guys that they developed in their G League system. So
And look what they did with Ben McLemore's career, man.
yeah, I mean, I just think they just simplified. Just say, look, man, you're not Ray Allen. You're not. You just
Just
catch and
shoot the
shoot.
ball.
Just
Catch and
don't
shoot.
put the
Yeah.
ball on the floor. One thing I don't know if he lost his bounce because remember at Kansas they used to run the backdoor cut lives for him. I haven't seen him show
I haven't
any
seen
bounce.
I haven't seen him shoot anything outside of a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I think he shot like his first like pull up J or something like that in the bubble all season. But he's been good. Austin Rivers, I mean, he had like 41 tonight, but
And they
he
still
had
got Ben Gordon or Eric Gordon sitting,
Eric Gordon coming back. I
icing
think
up.
they're gonna be tough. I mean, like they bait you to try to feed the ball in the post. And then once they do, if your big is not a good passer and he can't read where the help is coming from, it's going to
Anthony
be a lot of
Davis.
turnovers.
Yep.
Like, I think Jokic may give them some trouble because he can pass, but they're just going to put him on an island. So it's going to be interesting to see that chess match because Jokic can, I mean,
Yeah, he's special.
yeah. But if you
Speaking of
can't read
Jokic,
doubles, man, like you don't know if they double in on the catch. You don't know if they double in as soon as you put the ball on the floor.
yeah,
They definitely sinking.
yeah.
And Harden is, I mean, he getting steals. Like he led the NBA in steals this year. Like,
His synergy defensive stats are excellent.
yeah, I mean, because you
like
definitely
all the
can't
way
post
down the
them
board.
up.
You can't
Ninja
post him up.
hands. It's
Yeah.
funny because you always like people talk about his ball handling. And one of the things that about his ball handling is like this dude might have the fastest hands. Like he can dribble between his legs so fast that it's like a blur. Like his quick twitch arm is incredible. And now you're actually seeing it on defense. Like some of those steals he gets aren't even like those steals where you're like gambling in the passing lane. Those steals he
Right.
gets some quick ninja hand swipes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be tough. And then yeah, I mean, with no center, and then I just think Westbrook on playoff mode, you gotta pick your poison.
Westbrook plays so like that's why I don't think you can replicate what they do. Excuse me, because like there's only one James Harden. He's the second best passer in the NBA, and you can't do anything with him. You just gotta pray he shoots a million step back threes. But there's no
will
other.
bail you out on that sometimes.
He will. He will.
Westbrook,
I think he's calmed down just a little bit. But like, there's no other Russell Westbrook. There's no guard or wing that plays as hard as him, as fast as him, and is as talented as him in NBA.
His touch is so inconsistent. Like it's weird. Like
he's so athletic, man.
Yeah, and it's like he's not as bouncy as he was, but that burst and that first step, incredible.
Yeah, and like with him going 12 or 28 doesn't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be 28 shots in the paint. You know, so yeah. It's like it's not gonna hurt you, and he's gonna get to the foul line. He's got to shoot better. I think what game was that they lost? I think he missed like 7 or 8 free throws against Portland.
Portland, yeah. And he's gonna be matched up against a lot of centers.
Exactly. So like you can't copy what they do. But speaking of, you brought up Jokic, man. Before we take off, we got to talk about Michael Porter Jr., man. Are you a believer in Michael Porter Jr. full time?
Yeah, I mean they got their big three now. They got a legit big three.
He's exactly what they've been missing.
Yeah, he's tough. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to do what he's been doing. He was kind of like in and out their rotation this year, but here in the bubble, he's averaging like 25 and 10.
His first game was bad.
Yeah, over 50% from the floor, 40% from the foul line.
Rebounds.
Yeah, he's tough. I mean, I think Millsap is done now. I thought there
I
was a
think.
chance that they were gonna bring him back, but I think you got to
I
play
think.
Porter Jr. at
Hold
the
on, hold
four.
on.
I
Well,
think
he's
Barton.
done. Period. But like, I think Gary Harris is done. Starting. Because think
Well,
about it, you can play big. You can play Murray. We don't. What's a shooting guard anymore? You know, if Michael Porter's going to continue to shoot lights out, that's your two. So you play Murray. You got your 3-and-D guy and Torrey Craig, right? You got Jeremy Grant and you got Jokic. That's a big team.
I would still
So it's
go.
like, what do you need Gary Harris for?
I'd still go Murray,
Who
Harris,
cares?
Craig, Porter Jr.
I'm starting Jeremy Grant. You have length at 6'10" in Porter, and you got athletic 6'9" in Jeremy Grant. And
Well,
they athlete.
I'm bringing my in my second unit. I'm having Barton, and then I'm having, of course, Monty, and then Grant. I don't
But
know,
hold on, hold on.
like
Here's the thing. I think Millsap coming off the bench is better because like he can take advantage of those backup fours. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like he's still he got his toes in the sand, but like he could if you put him in a smaller role off the bench, I think he could still like be a matchup problem. Because you
yeah.
still got Plumlee out there who's a great like I think they can it's time, man.
Yeah, I mean, Porter Jr. has definitely caught me by surprise. I was never big on him. I thought he was like too stiff. I didn't think he had like, well, I guess I just didn't like the Kevin Durant comparisons
Yeah, it's
as
not
far as like the wiggle, the creating off the dribble. But I mean, like I said, I was wrong on him. He caught me by surprise, and they got their big three. And now it's just a matter of finding the complementary pieces around their big three. I've even saw somebody said they would trade Murray, but I think you got to keep Murray.
Nah, you gotta keep Murray because he's
He needs
he
Jokic.
fits with Jokic perfectly.
Yeah,
My only concern with Michael Porter, I mean, outside his health, is his shot selection. I mean, he's shooting lights out, but he's good for throwing up some bad ass shots. And it's like
yeah,
for him to go from like these playing games mean, they're good. He's getting his confidence, and I don't think confidence has ever been an issue with him. But like he's showing you what he can do. But like some of these shots he's going to be taking come playoff games,
Same with
they're
Murray.
not good shots.
Same with
Same with
Jamal
Murray.
Murray. Yeah,
But the thing is, Mike Malone, Mike Malone? He'll bench you. He'll bench Michael Porter Jr. He won't bench Murray because Murray didn't earn his. But
yeah,
like, I'm worried about his shot selection this season because like, yeah, he's making shots, but he
right.
takes some really bad ones sometimes too.
Yep.
And it's like you don't want to have any bad possessions in the playoffs because they all count.
Yeah, that's true. And I think as of now they may play Oklahoma City.
They
That'll be
get no.
interesting. That would be
Yeah,
an interesting series.
they
All
beat
right.
Oklahoma.
All right. In conclusion, so I know this is your boy. You're a big fan. You've been a fan of his for a little while now. How do you feel about your boy getting snubbed in the MIP race?
Man, look, I was feeling some kind of way about it, but Luka shouted him out. Was like, "Yo, where's Devonte Graham?"
Right.
So it's like I'm not crazy. Devonte Graham got better, and again, there's no disrespect to Luka or Brandon Ingram, but like if you a top 3 pick,
You expect it.
it's expected. We talking about a
Yeah.
second round pick. All right,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
he was closing games out. Like I said, I understand Charlotte's not sexy, man, but like they were a good bad team. Like they were competitive every night. So like I feel like his improvement, that's what the most improved player award is about. It's the guys you don't expect. Like
wait,
it
who
was
was it?
Siakam, who was a
Who was
huh?
it? Who were the three?
It
Luka,
was
Ingram,
Luka,
who?
Bam, and Ingram.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I'm cool with it with Bam getting it because Bam, like, he didn't start every game last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he made a really big jump. But like, you expect Luka, like, come on, man. Luka was rookie of the year, man. Like, you don't think he
Well,
wasn't gonna get better?
yeah, but like, I don't think anybody expected 29, 9-9 better. Like,
Okay, so if
so
that's the
I
case,
get
then
that point. Like,
but
I just think they should have
why is
expanded
it?
it to 4 guys. Should have expanded it to 4 guys. At least put
But
them
if
on the
that's the
ballot.
case, well, why isn't Trey Young in the conversation? I mean, he went from 20 to 30.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's like
the Hawks are bad.
the Pelicans was bad. The Pelicans was bad with more talent than the Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. So
It
yeah,
doesn't.
Graham should
So
have
to
definitely
me,
been on there. I mean, but I think for Luka, they had to put him on there because
why?
he was good, but he went from like, probably one of the best rookie years in a long time to MVP. So how many times will you see a guy? I mean, I think Luka could get top 5 MVP votes in his second year.
I'm not doubting that. But again, Luka's pedigree. Luka should have been the first pick in that draft.
Yeah.
Luka started off. No, he kind of hit the rookie wall last year, but he still was very good. Didn't he break the rookie triple double record or something? So it was kind of like for him to be 29, and I understand the Mavs have the statistically like the best offense ever, but it's like I'm expecting, when you get James Harden and LeBron comparisons, you expect James Harden and LeBron type stuff.
Not in year
the
2
Hornets,
though.
man.
But no, I just think they should. I said not in year 2 though. Like even the biggest Luka fan wouldn't have expected 29, 9-9. Then he came back in his bubble even better. Like
yeah, I agree. Look, man, this
for
is
those
not to
people that
slight
say he was
Luka.
close to his peak and he can't get much better, man, I still think he there's some things. I still he think there's some craft he can add to his game.
Yeah,
I still think the sky's the limit. Like honestly, only Magic Johnson is probably the only player comparable that has a better career resume at the age of 21 than Luka.
LeBron.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, because LeBron didn't make the playoffs his first 2 years, though, right?
What year was?
But then
How
you
old
got
was
to
he when
remember,
he ended the Pistons?
I think that
That
was like
was
his
07.
third year. Yeah, but I
He
think
was
the thing is,
22.
right, but I think the thing is that LeBron didn't have like a real resume because he skipped college. He didn't have a resume.
Yeah.
But like Magic won a championship in college.
Okay,
Like
so you're saying.
Luka won like, in the second best league, he won MVP. He got a championship in Europe. He's
Yeah,
got
but that's why I'm like, is he the most improved player by the sense of the award? That's what I'm saying. Like his
well, I
pedigree
mean,
was lined again.
statistically,
He's ahead of schedule, but like it's just expected of him.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think
And
Graham.
especially since they got Porzingis, like they were going to be good this year, and they are. And even they're good.
Yeah.
I just think about like guys like Siakam won it. There was nobody who thought Siakam was going to be what he is today.
Right.
I think about CJ McCollum won it after like not playing
Yeah,
a lot of minutes.
He broke his foot.
Like he went from like 6 points a game to like 17 to we know what kind of guy he is. So I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, it's not Luka hate. I'm a Luka believer. But if I had a vote, I'm giving it to Bam. But I'm putting Devonte Graham on the ballot for sure.
Yeah,
he's not supposed to be here.
No, he definitely should have been on the ballot. But how many people watch Charlotte games?
That's the problem. If I watch Charlotte games, how come you not watching Charlotte games?
I mean, because people don't. I mean, just like the year Al Jefferson should have been
All NBA.
Yes. I was there that year, that season, and he was unstoppable in the paint.
On one side of the floor.
One side of the
floor. With 2 moves.
Yeah, you can't hands, man. You can't know where you get to doing this.
These backhand ones too.
Yep. Well, all right, man. I appreciate you coming on. We got to do it again coming up. I got a few other topics that that I want to discuss. But yo, this is Raphael with my brother James. It's the Run the Floor podcast, and we out.